Hey, Tim. Are you able to hear me, Tim? Because no one can hear you. Like as you were talking, like there was no sound coming through on Facebook.
You know what? I probably had the mic off. Unfortunately, I had myself muted.
Yeah, so I'm
Um,
gonna go ahead and let you get started. Go ahead and
okay.
introduce yourself and say what you.
All right, I'm gonna do this all over. Sorry about that, y'all. See, this is technology. So I was talking, and Tabitha just told me I was talking, but no one could hear me. So my name is Tim Tobias, also Tim Lavin, or for some of from back in the day, Tim Princess, and I am the co-founder, one of the co-founders of Ballroom We Care. Tonight, we bring you a very important and very interesting discussion. We have a group of panelists, women from Ballroom, who are going to talk about substance use and also meth use, and what that looks like for women in Ballroom. So I'm going to bring up our host, who Tabitha Gonzalez, Tabitha Revlon. Most of y'all know her. I'm going to bring her up. She's going to introduce the ladies, and she's going to take it away. Sorry about that, too, the very beginning. Thank you, Tabitha. So I'm going to hand it over to
Hey, Tim. Hey, I probably got bedhead here. Hey, everyone. Welcome to this great intentional ballroom. Why do girls always do this, y'all, when we get on? It's just where y'all wouldn't understand. We just got to find the right lighting for us to be comfortable. But now that I'm comfortable, we're going to have an amazing, amazing conversation with some beautiful women who's going to tell you about either their personal connection to this or their personal journey and struggle with this. Some of us may not suffer from substance use or live with substance use. I don't really like the word suffer, right? Because suffering feels like there's no way you can get out of that, right? But when you're living with it, that means that you're living successfully and you're thriving. And you may not feel like you're thriving, but with the right support and the right tools, we can help you in an informed way utilize harm reduction. So I'm going to bring up our panelists so they can introduce themselves and I can introduce you to these beautiful people who are willing to tell you their story. I'm your host, Tabitha Gonzalez, also known as Tabitha Revlon, hashtag Auntie Tabby. And my pronouns are she, her, hers. So let's get this talk talking. Let's get this panel started. The first person I'm going to bring up is the first person I can see. So, Tim, can you please bring the ladies up? I guess let's bring up Crystal. Tim, if you can hear me, I can't see any of the other girls. I don't know if we're having another technical glitch, but I didn't see anyone. Can't see anyone, Tim. Oh, she's not here yet. That's great. Who's here? see, let's see who's here. All right, let me bring on Brenda. Hey, Auntie, how you doing?
Hey, my love, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm about to bring up y'all bio so we can go ahead and we can tell the audience exactly who you are. Did you send your bio in? Because if not, I can make it right off the top. You want me to make you one?
Suit yourself, sweetheart. I'm an
Brenda.
open book.
I love that. Brenda, also known as Brenda Continental Milan Soldier. Brenda, a pioneer, been in ballroom since 1981. To present Brenda is open about her struggle with substance use and is willing to share her story with you with the hopes of helping others in the community. Brenda wants Brenda wants what? Everyone to never give up and believe in yourself. Her motto is if I can do it, you can do it. Now, whether she will be sharing from her personal experience or whether she will share from her experience with helping others and watching them go through it. Because not every person on this panel has that lived experience. But one thing we can all understand and know is that we see it prevalent in our own personal lives or in the lives of the loved ones that we have around us. So, Brenda, won't you introduce yourself a little bit while I pull up the first question?
Hey, everyone. My name is Brenda Holder, also known as Brenda Continental Milan Soldier. Like she said, I've been in ballroom since 1981. I've seen, dealt, been a part of. I know what substance abuse is. Okay. I used to self-medicate, trying to deal with um, obstacles, struggles, things that went on in our community, everyday life. Um, let's see, it's nothing. I've been clean for since 2009, I'll say, and but it's not. My addiction was not crystal meth.
Okay. So we're
Okay,
gonna
my
talk
addiction.
see because we're not gonna be
Uh,
specific to that. We're not specific to meth. So I'm gonna narrate it in the way that it should go to lead up into the story. So we're not even gonna talk about that. But right about now, what I want to do, if it's okay with the audience and with you, can we bring the other people up to the panel so we can see them all and I can introduce them? Uh-oh.
Hi, TT.
Hey, what's up? What's up,
What's
Niecy?
up? You
What's
look
good?
nice. You look really
Hey,
nice.
Jaiva. Way, what's up? What's going
Hi.
on? And last but not least, we waiting for Mother herself. Where are you, Aja? We need you here. We need the powers to be here in this space so we can speak truth to what's going on in our community. And I'm so glad to have you all here with me. And I kind of winged it in the beginning because we was trying to fix technology. I'm an old school girl, so I ain't even gonna hold you. I don't know too much about it, but I know I have some tech issues. Now, if my little sis over there would have been over here with the little remotes and everything, we'd probably been running a smoothie, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to introduce the panel all over again. First, we have here, oh my God, my eyes, y'all, my eyes. Crystal LaBeija. Woo, girl, you got a whole lot of stuff to say here. So I'm going to say something and you can finish the rest, okay?
Yeah.
Formerly worked as the TGNC lead organizer at Center for Anti-Violence Education, curating Pride Protections, a self-defense program that has highlighted entrepreneurship and advocacy training. She is a wife, a member of the Hall of Fame, the first House of Ballroom Culture, Royal House of LaBeija. She is also featured in one of the main subjects in the documentary Peer Kids, The Life. In 2017, she was head of communications at the New York Transgender Advocacy Group. She is the first woman of trans experience singer to appear on BET, that's Black Entertainment Television, and Apollo Live in Harlem. Girl, there's a whole lot more going on over here
Good.
with you.
That's good. Thank
We
you.
just gonna allow you to say that. So why don't you introduce yourself to the audience and tell them your pronouns?
Hello, I'm Crystal LaBeija, overall princess of the Hustle of Asia.
Come on,
She,
Crystal.
her,
It's
in
you.
love terms is my pronouns, and that's all. That's it. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
having me here
you.
today.
Next, thank you for being here. Next, we have the incomparable, the girl, the lyricist with the deadly pen, that'll send your head over the bend. So let me stop playing and go ahead and begin. We got
Ah!
Iman 007 in the
Woo-hoo.
space. So let me tell you a little bit about Iman. Is 23 years old, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, currently based in New York City. Iman is a hip hop artist, trained model, and actress. This year, Iman celebrates a year of sobriety after dealing with substance abuse on and off in the past and strives to achieve her gifts to be a light for others, to choose a substance of free life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Auntie. I'm so glad that I'm here. Thank you so much, Tim, for this opportunity. And I hope that by us sharing our stories and our experiences, whether they are personal or through others, that other people are able to learn something and take something from this. So thank you again.
Okay. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being vulnerable enough to share your story. I am
Ooh, deep
so humbled
breaths, deep
and so
breaths, deep
honored.
breaths.
I'm humbled. I'm humbled. And I'm going to tell you why. We're going to get to it. Trust me, I got you. Next, we have now. We had her on earlier. You know, she was going to make sure that I'll get it correct. So let me make sure I get it correct right now. The pioneer, my auntie, Brenda Holder, also known as Brenda Continental Milan Soldier. Now, I want to talk about some stuff. Brenda, a pioneer in the ballroom, has been in ballroom since 1981 to present. She's still walking, y'all. She's still out there. She still got her foot on y'all neck. She ain't letting up yet. Brenda is open about her struggles with substance abuse and is willing to share her story about others who she's also known with the hopes of helping others in the community. Brenda wants everyone to never give up and believe in yourself because if she can do it, so can you. Hi, Brenda. Tell us your pronouns and who you are. Baby, you said some beautiful things, but you might want to unmute yourself.
Hey,
Yeah, we can hear you now.
can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Oh, my name is Brenda Holder, also known as Brenda Continental Milan Soldier, Queen Mother Soldier. Been in ballroom since 1981 to present. Um, I've dealt with substance abuse in the past. I've been clean since 2009. Um, I chose substance abuse or self medication. It's not substance abuse, but self medication to deal with the struggles, the pain, the loss, the hurt, everything that life throws at me. Sometimes I got to the point where I wasn't strong enough to deal with it, and I wasn't old enough. I was young.
Okay.
So I had no help. I didn't have, nowadays, everyone has these agencies and outreaches and everything. I didn't have that growing up.
Thank you. Thank you
So,
for sharing that. We're going to unpack that. We're going to get right into that and the difference and the variations of when we came from a time of intolerableness to a time where it's a little bit more tolerated to how we're going to look at it from a view and to hear your story and from a harm reductive approach. It's so important. The next we have, now she didn't send me a bio because I knew that she was going to come on here and tell y'all who she was herself. She is one of the people who a lot of us go to when we need help. She's an ally, she's my sister, and she's my friend. Jahira Diaz, introduce yourself. You might want to unmute yourself too. Y'all girls ain't gonna be playing with me.
My name is Jahira Diaz. I have a very big personal story with when it comes to substances. Used substances for a majority of my life. Crystal meth was the last one I tried and I used, and it tore me down. It was really hard. I turned my life around, being clean now for 2 years and like 10 months, I believe.
Mhm.
I'm a care navigator at Housing Works for a program called Tranquility, and it's a care coordination program for MSM, trans, and non-binary folks of color. Would you like me to say
Okay.
something else?
No, but also this is he who coordinates the program for Tranquility for the TGNC MB community. I don't know whether that was her reason or whether it was me. So we're gonna get right to it. We do have one more person. I'm not sure if she's having technical issues, but I want to go ahead and read her bio until she's able to join us. So because I want to give everybody their due deals. Because I first want to say that, you know, it's not easy to get on before our community and the people and talk about our experience. It's not always easy. And I want to say thank you to Ballroom We Care for creating this space for us to talk about this much needed conversation. So to Tim, Johnny, Mike, and everybody else who took part in orchestrating this, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. The next person that will be joining us, her name, most of you know her, probably all of you know her, is Asia West. Asia Snowden West. I'm going to go by her bio, okay? She is Brooklyn born and raised. She identifies as a Black woman of trans experience. Asia is also legendary in the house and ballroom community. More importantly, she has earned her spot as the overall mother of the rising House of West. 15 years ago, Asia decided that she needed to live her truth. Asia says that fighting for herself and people like her has been a lifelong journey that she doesn't regret. We are worthy and we are deserving. Thank you, Asia, for your beautiful words. And we'll hear from you later. So, for many of us, ballroom is our refuge and our saving grace. As a community, throughout the years, we've experienced substance use, abuse, neglect, homophobia, transphobia, gender identity discrimination, incarceration, mental illness, and unfortunately, unexpected deaths. We witnessed individuals who have cried out for help via social media and later took their lives. We have experienced the senseless killing of our trans women from ballroom. Although we are traumatized, we have become numb to some of these issues. Ballroom has, however, remained resilient. Tonight, we are hoping that this event will shed some light on the issues faced by Black and brown trans women and the women of our ballroom community. Increases awareness for you, provide solutions as a community, and identify warning signs and provide resources for us to heal and help each other. Okay. So I'm going to ask the panelists. This is the first question. You ladies ready?
Yes,
I want to call
ma'am.
on you individually. Please speak within a reasonable time. Step up, step back. Allow your sister to share her narrative. Asia's on her way back. Okay, so we're going to get started and I'll repeat the question for Asia, okay? Why was it important for you to participate in this panel? Hey, Asia, I gave you a warm welcome, beloved. They heard it.
Hi, ladies. I'm sorry. My phone dropped. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. We are so glad that you are here and that you are under the sound of my voice and that your voice is being shared and heard by many others. I just want to welcome you all and say thank you all for being brave, because we hear a lot of times the word use safe space. But we're going to try to keep it safe, but we also going to be brave in this space because it takes a lot for us to tell our stories. So the first question to the panel is, why was it important for you to participate in this panel? Jahira.
It was important for me because my story needs to be told on the struggle, and I know there's a lot of people out there still struggling with these substances and they feel alone, and I want them to let them know they're not alone, and there's people who do recover and we come out the other side winning.
Thank you. Why was it important for you to be on this panel? Crystal. Crystal, can you hear me, my love? Now, if you put that phone down, you know the libations is on here. You ain't got to call them.
Oh.
All right.
Right.
You like share it alive, share it alive.
Period. So I wanted to. The reason why I felt like it was necessary to be a part of it was because it is something that plagues a lot of my friendships. It's no more just being silent about the thing that I know is taking a lot of my friends and my peers away. And so if there's a space that's willing to have these hard conversations to hopefully let people know that we are here even for this too, then I definitely want to be a part of it. Cause I know sometimes we may chop it off and keep our friends' business to ourselves, but oftentimes they just don't know where they can go. And sometimes if you can't be the person to tell your friend, at least we can come here and talk about how it feels to us. And that may in turn gives them enough strength to reach out on their own. So that's why I wanted to be here today.
Thank you. Why was it important for you to be here, Auntie Brenda?
It's simple. I'm the oldest member here. I've seen the struggles. I've been through the struggles. I've been there. My story, most people know, and I'm not ashamed. And if one person hears and understands and can relate, they too can get the help that they need. So I needed to share my experience. I may break down, I may not, but I'm going to do my best just to be open-hearted and allow everyone to hear what I got to say.
Thank you. Now listen, y'all. Y'all know they go. If we start crying on here, they gonna say, "Oh, them bitches there's them hormones." So let's just, let's just let it be known that y'all may get some tears, and y'all may get all of that, but it's okay.
It's gonna happen.
That's right. This is a safe space, and this is a brave space, and we here to heal, and we here to help you do it and tell you what we need. Iman, tell me. Why was it important for you to be on this panel?
Can you hear me okay, TT?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It was important for me to be here because to echo Miss Brenda, who, by the way, I look up to you, and you are indeed a pioneer in our community. So thank you for all that you have done. You have indeed paved the way for people like ourselves to just be who we are. So thank you. I have to say that. But on the opposite, I believe I'm the youngest person here. And I think that in our community, it's just so important because so many things have changed since when Miss Brenda was younger or my age and till now, where everything is so individualistic sometimes, even in Ballroom. Even though we still have our houses and our family units, sometimes when we go through things, everything is so personal and everything is kept to ourselves. I think it was so important for me. One, this is very cathartic because my experience with heavy substance use is very recent. So this is cathartic for me, but also I wish I had more people to talk to when I was actually going through it. So this hopefully will help people who may be around my age going through it, because my age group is getting hit the hardest and they're being introduced to it right now, presently. So if we can stop it, I think that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Asia, my love.
Hey everyone. So I wanted to be a part of this topics tonight because I wanted to be the voice for my sisters that are not here, that can't speak any longer. I also want to be a part of this conversation because I feel like in the ballroom scene, we do need to start having these type of conversations more frequently because we have new generations that are coming And they are, being taken advantage of in these situations. And I definitely want to be a part in these conversations because these are definitely need to be had way more. And starts here.
And thank you all for like your willingness. Again, I can't emphasize enough, you know, behind the scenes, us actually wanting to be able to share this space, to share this. It means a lot. As you see, you are very intentional in a generational way to make sure that everyone is included, all voices are heard. Because more often than not, when we talk about adversity, diversity and all these big words that people throw around, diversity and inclusion and equity is entirely different, right? Diversity is just inviting the people in. Inclusion looks like having the inclusion, the intergenerational conversation with Black and Brown trans women inside a ballroom so we can tell you our struggles, our hopes, and our fears. And I say fears because if we don't listen and lean in and learn and have hope to heal, I fear what will possibly happen to us in this community. And I know that's a fear for everyone.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you to all you ladies for actually being here and just being willing to share space. And you'll hear me continue to say thank you because I'm just a humble bitch. That's just who I am. Can I say bitch? But you know what I mean. Ooh, auntie cursing. Okay. Has being a part of the ballroom contributed to the challenges that you face, past and or present?
Um, I go. This is Asia. So for me, I would have to say that I would say no and yes. I would say yes. Some of the past, because I wouldn't say my future because I have learned what not to let come home with me.
Mm,
But being a part in the past, I didn't know and understand my community as much as I know now. So it definitely gave me some challenges in my life that helps me overcome. Like I'm definitely happy I went through those struggles because of it made me a stronger Black trans woman now. But before, honestly, it put me in a lot of struggles, a lot of insecurities, even some depression.
thank you. Anyone else? I'm gonna let you think about it. I'm gonna repeat the question. Has being part of ballroom contributed to your challenges, past or present, with substance use?
I'm gonna have to say yes, because at the time when I came out, it was the HIV and AIDS Holocaust pandemic, whatever you want to call it. And to sit back and watch people that I created a family with, and they started losing their lives. And then they turned to substance abuse to help numb the pain because nobody wanted to talk about anything. And everyone was shunned, ostracized, and just
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Oof. It's okay. It's okay. We love you. We love you. You need a
Count.
minute?
to be one of the last people that are still here and still living.
Mhm.
It hurts because I have survivor's remorse, and I feel at times that I don't belong here, but I'm here, and I'm able to help anyone who wants help. There's no one who can call me or reach out to me and ask for help. And if I know how to help them or how to navigate through whatever they're going through, I'll do it. I don't want to see no one go through what I went through. I don't want to see nobody hurting.
We love you so much, Brenda.
You know, I don't want to see the pain. I don't want to see the hatred, the negativity, the backstabbing. When I grew up with a family who accepted me for me and who guided me and molded me and who showed me there is better. Don't do what I do. Do what's going to be best for you. And then you get to pass the blessings on to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Each one teach one.
So listen, I want us to lean into this conversation because I know I asked it right, and then some of us be on the fence. I challenge you to use your voice, right? Because for me, I know that we all have agency and autonomy to make our own decisions, whether we pick up or not, whether we see our friends pick up or not. But let's be honest and let's be clear in this messages that we're sending. This is not to shame or point fingers. This is to tell our story, and let's be honest about how it has harmed and how it has helped. Not when we're together in our cliques and we're bashing. This is a time that we can bring this conversation truly to the forefront. Because I know for me, yes, I got introduced to drugs because I came into a community which was ballroom that raised me. It cost me 14 years of my life. I've been away from my own community. I got to where I'm at now by crawling up, hand and feet. Every inch I had to fight to get to my station back in life because I didn't have this. I didn't have the liberty or the liberation or people to support me. And if I did, I didn't recognize it because I was already gone. I was already in it. And I was afraid to tell it because it was a shameful thing to be black and to be an addict, let alone a trans woman. So it was much more harder. A lot of us have fallen. We see our sisters every day in the street, and some of us walk right by them and won't even stop and do nothing for them. But when they was the it girl and they was rolling around on the floor for the beans and the claps and the trophies, that was y'all sis. That was y'all fave. Where are you when they fall off? When they stumble? What does that look like? Let's be honest about this. We still have sisters out there right now that we see every day, and we talk about them on the phone to how we seen them. We're accountable too, women. If we have this space right now, we don't address it, we're accountable. Let's tell it. Let's tell it. We here. Let's do it. Next question. Oof. I'm going to tell y'all, I didn't set these questions up. Don't get me. But as a woman of trans experience, do you trust this ballroom community when it comes to receiving support? And why not? Or why do you?
This is Asia. I definitely don't. And I think that's why these conversations are much needed. I feel like I have to disagree with something you had said, Tabitha. Like, I don't think people get shunned down until like shunned on, like looked down on until like they're like when it's noticeable. But in our community, it's like a thing to get high. It's like you're supposed to do it.
So if you don't, it's a problem. Or you're not, oh, you're not fab, or you're not this if you're not getting high with your girlfriends, or you look, why is she so boring, or why you're this. So in our community, a lot of the times it's like pressure. Like you have, it's like pressure. You have to come to the ball and get high with your friends to even be kind of noticed, or want to hang with the it crowds. They're all getting high, and if you're not, you won't be invited anymore to hang out with them. And when it comes to younger crowds, and um they want to be a part of the it crowd, they want to be a part of the people that are hanging out having a good time, and they want to be around them people.
Yes.
So I don't, that's the reason why I don't trust scene where it's at right now.
Iman, brand new to the scene. You've already been struggling. Do you trust this community?
Oh my God.
We can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do I trust the community? I want to, but I don't, because I just know that people, from my experience, only care about you. And this is something that you all have said, but in a different way, I'm going to echo: when you are fab, whatever that means. If someone feels like you are of use to them, then obviously you are supported. But the minute that you are not, or you're not winning, or you have nothing to offer, um, you're discarded. And we see that sometimes even with the way we go about choosing people for houses, or to be a part of our little cliques or our little families. They're like, oh, well, how many trophies have you won? Or how many balls have you walked? Or whatever the case may be. And a lot of times with houses nowadays, you're not even granted access to those unions until you have participated or walked X amount of balls or won X amount of trophies, and then you can join a house to have a family. When truthfully, I think it should be the reverse, that we accept you for who you are, and then ballroom, as far as the competition, comes secondary. But that's not the case. So I think it's all a performance, and that's why you have to be on for ballroom all the time, because they don't care about your personal life. They care about you as an image, as a persona, and that's why everyone has a persona for ballroom. Because I don't think it's real. It's not real.
Hmm. I'm gonna let y'all sit with that, right? Because I have my opinions, and we're not here for that. Because that's a new person who's saying that this is what their view of ballroom is. Do you hear that? Let that sink in. Because when I came to ballroom, it was about family. We took care of each other. We loved on each other. We supported each other. What happened? As someone who provides services, because usually, more often than not, when we're suffering or some of us are suffering, we can't go to our icons, our pioneers, and those people we look up to, because we feel we're going to be judged. So we go through the backdoor policy, a girl who know a girl who know a girl, to get connected to care. And sometimes that care may be provided by people who are not of ballroom, but they've been present in ballroom, taking care of us on the sidelines. Thank you, Jahira.
I
Do
want to say
you
something.
trust this? Do you trust this community,
So,
Jahira?
I had a similar so I was in ballroom for like half a second. I was in Infinity, and I had a very similar experience as Iman. To me, it was just a whole competition thing. That's what it was portrayed to me as. To me, I didn't see it as a whole family and how you see it on post. I didn't get it introduced to ballroom like that. So it was, to me, it was just a competition, and you would just go to the function and you walk, and that's it. There was nothing else. And that's another reason why I never stayed in ballroom, because I didn't see a sense of me competing against a whole bunch of people all the time.
Um,
What, Crystal?
yeah, for me, A lot of my support, and I guess because I'm part of like a whole old, as they say nowadays, the old people house. I guess a lot of times, like our influence is more family oriented, so I do feel supported a lot when it comes to like telling them what I'm dealing with, be be whatever it may be. Now, when it comes to substance, sometimes I may get, because I always have to I get scorned for things, substances that I may use to deal with anxiety and stuff. I may not go to them as readily, but I still know I can. But if I'm not there yet, sometimes it may come down. It may seem like they say tough love. It may seem kind of harsh, and so I don't want to be annoyed with it. But I can't say they're not willing to support me. um I just, yeah, but and oftentimes, even when it, like as Asia, to affirm what Asia said, a lot of times because I don't do certain drugs, I'm not in, I wasn't invited to places, or I'm considered a not, or not a cool person. So I've dealt with it that way, to where sometimes there were certain things that I didn't technically party with too much, that I kind of picked up more often because of the group that I was with. So I can't say that sometimes I wouldn't have tried certain things if it wasn't for me hanging with some people, I would say. But I don't want to blame it on them, because it's still my, my cross to bear. So that's why. But I can't. If I had to be honest right now, that looking in hindsight, there were certain things I probably wouldn't have even considered if it wasn't for the peers I was with at the time.
Thank you. Brenda?
Um, for me, it's totally different because I grew up with the family dynamic, and I didn't have to get in to fit in or be a part of anybody's clique because I was my own individual person. Um, I had people who looked out for me, who helped me. Everyone knows my gay mother was Paris Dupree, and Paris molded me and taught me right from wrong and guided me to the point where it was told to me, out of sight, out of mind. That's how ballroom consider us. Sad, but it's true. Now everyone is in competition with everyone, and I'm better than you, or I did this, or I started that, and this. No, somebody did it before you. Sorry to say, you didn't start anything. You weren't the first, you won't be the last, and somebody else is going to come along and pick up the spot. You know, ballroom can be many things. It can make you, it can break you. You just have to be strong enough to say, that's you. That's not me. I make my own decision. Do for you. You got to learn how to do for you because ain't nobody else going to do it for you. All these people nowadays, oh, we care. No, you don't. We love. No, you don't. We want to help. No, you don't. These young kids, all of y'all, look for guidance for people from like me. I'm here. I'm willing. I don't care. There's nothing for me to talk to somebody and help somebody any way I can. But at some point, you got to stop with this and start with this. Stop talking and start listening. You can hear somebody hurting. You can hear somebody crying out for help. And the sad thing about it is that when these young individuals or anyone is crying out for help, is that they go to the people that who introduced them to the stuff. And then what happens? They talk about them, they put their business in the street. Why do you think suicide is running rampant? You can't go back to the people who's introduced you to something expecting them to help you, but you don't know anyone else that you can go to for help. And it's sad. And as a community, we got to do better because every day there is another young child coming out. And every day there's somebody out there waiting to pray and pounce. Oh, it's not cute. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Be wary of the company you keep. Not everyone has good intentions, and not everybody's your friend. It's simple.
I need y'all to just and I know this seems very uncomfortable to people, and it seems like the blame game, and a lot of people are blaming ballroom.
No,
See, here's
no.
what I want to say to people. I need you to understand that this is not what this is about. If you care about any person in your family that you bring to your house, it's important for you to listen in because a lot of people have been lost and gone and have died to substance use and mental health because we
Yeah.
don't want to listen. Ballroom, these are your women speaking to you. Some of us have been called your mothers, your sisters, your daughters. Where is the love when we need it? Being black and trans is so much hard work to do every day. We're more than just a category for us to be there and receive your glory for 10 minutes of fame and then go home and battle with our addiction in private. That wasn't, everyone's story. It wasn't, I'm not, hold on, Brenda. It wasn't everybody's story, but there were some. See, ballroom is where I can go and be me and be celebrated for who I was, where I didn't hide who I was. My house welcomed me with open arms and loved me and was there for me. Everybody has had that experience at some point. That's why you went into your house. What happened after? You have to be accountable for decisions we make as adults, and we have to be mindful to watch out for them babies that's around us who don't know no better. Because sometimes, more often than not, it's right within our community. It's our own people selling the poison to us. Okay? To hear Asia say it was almost like a rites of passage. You're not fab if you don't boot through a bump with me.
Mm, mm.
That made my skin reach out because I remember in my era of the same thing. Brenda say she the oldest child. We sit here laughing like, girl, I'm 48. What the hell you thought? It's some good beat. Thank you, Jay Slag. But I'm 48, sweetie. We've been there. We've seen that. This conversation is so needed because I do not want the babies. Because I'm a baby to you. But I don't want my nieces and nephews suffering in silence. Not anymore. The first time I got introduced to Ballroom We Care, I was blown away by the fearlessness of these young children telling you their story. I've probably seen it done one time. But it stuck with me so much that when I was asked to do this, I said, hell yeah. Because within that last panel, we've lost a lot of community members. Hashtag a rest in peace, posting your picture, it's great memories. But we need to be doing more as a community. We need to be checking in and being there for each other. And sometimes that looks like sacrifice. But I'm not going to a family or calling nobody my family if we're not sacrificing for each other. And that's just me. Next question.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I'm not here to judge anyone, pass judgment, because I'm no better than anyone. I need everybody to understand that. I'm only better than the person I was yesterday, trying to be better than the person I am today for tomorrow. So there's no judgment coming this way. I'm not judging no one.
Yeah.
I was
No,
speaking
it's
how
not
I
about,
feel.
yeah.
If anything I say come off to hurt anyone or it sounds like I'm being malicious or anything, please do not take it like that. I'll apologize or anything, but just understand
Now,
I
Auntie,
cannot
Auntie,
sugarcoat anything.
Auntie, Auntie, that's that senior shit. I get like that too. Time I start crying and thinking shit. But trust me, we know you love us. Ain't nobody taking nothing like you attacking us. You could get that right out of your head. We're gonna remove that from this space because we came here to tell our story. We came here to tell what we did to get over it, and we came here to address our family on what we need as women in ballroom and our experience.
It's
This is
also
what.
for the people who are watching.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
not just the panel, it's for the people who are watching.
of course.
You know,
Yeah, of course. You okay, Ma? Auntie, you good?
yeah,
Okay.
I may end
Oh,
up smoking a pack of cigarettes through this discussion.
we love you so much.
You know,
Okay. In the
I'm
past,
drinking water. Water.
in the past decade, and we've all been here for a decade. Some of us. Hi, Ma. How you doing? In the
Almost two
past
and a half decades.
decade, how has Ballroom responded to the needs of women like you? Be honest.
Am I wait, can you repeat the question, TT?
In the last decade, how has Ballroom responded to the needs of women like you?
Um, I think the support for for women like me, women of trans experience, has kind of declined in ballroom. I think we don't. I think the men in our community don't stand behind trans women enough for me in ballroom. And I'm only coming into it for the past 3 years, so I don't have any experience on the other 7 in that decade. But from having conversations with older trans women who were a part of ballroom, who are in my life, and just even doing my own personal research, we were the most high in ballroom. And at one point, Bush Queens weren't even walking balls, or masculine figures didn't come until a little bit later. And I don't think that we get as much support as we deserve, especially the mother figures and the elders, because they're the ones that really push the community forward. And like you said, once you kind of aged out of being, not even really aged out, but your time of whatever you're doing has passed, you're forgotten about. And we see that happen all the time, and you wonder, oh, is this person still around, or is this person still around? And nobody bothers to check on them because they don't see them at a function. And I don't want that to be my story 20 years down the line, just because I decide not to go to a ball. But sometimes it does feel that way.
And what would you want to see different in Ballroom? Asia. Okay. Asia? Okay, we'll pass it over to Crystal.
I think moving forward, what I would like to see is film queen categories again. I think so. Oftentimes I feel like it's reduced to female figure only, and they clump us together. And with the rise of mainstream, there's just no place for us to just be reverenced amongst a community that started with us. So it's like sometimes I just, no lie, it's like get off my Vogan train. I don't want to be up there with all these different. Sometimes I just want to be there with my girls. I don't want to be there with all these. But so I would like to have specific queen categories once more again. That's just the minute. And then as far as socially, I would like I would like us to be able to form more intergenerational settings to where it's not us waiting until the Kiki scene is done with the generation before we get them after they've already received so many grand prizes to really like do whatever they want with, and they're set in their independence so much that it's almost like we're hitting concrete trying to reach out to them after they hit 24 to 28. I think that a new way where we're at now, it's like we don't get to talk to the next generation until they hit 26 versus 16 when they became independent, when they were ostracized from family. And I think it's kind of a lot of things are settled in by then, and it's a little harder to kind of deprogram or show support if we're always kicked out of the rooms or kicked out of spaces. So I think that is one thing I would love to see change about just ballroom in general as we grow and start to receive support from outside entities, that they remember that we still want to teach and reach back as much as possible, and we're not predators trying to do that.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay.
So Asia, the question is, what would you want to see different in ballroom?
Definitely. She said, I would definitely, like Crystal said, I would definitely like to see more femme queen categories. Again, I would also like to see us love doing more. I would definitely like us to see more appreciated, especially like people like Brenda and the older generation. I feel like when I watch and I see how they're treated, sometimes it kind of disgusts me by the new generations, because I feel like they are our legacy. They are our history, and and older generation in general. But I would definitely just, trans women. It's hard for us to be here. It's hard for us to be here for years and years and years, and I definitely think that we definitely need to appreciate our women like Brenda, Tabitha. Our older generations that are here to speak about the past. They know our history. Like, yeah.
Thank you so much. Um, I just want to just say this real quick. Corey, that was a great question, and I'm going to ask that question. But I see that, and it's in my spirit. That's coming up. I got you, Corey. Stay with us. I got you. What attracts people to meth? What are your thoughts on that, Iman and Jahira? That question is for you. Jahira,
Wait,
unmute yourself.
Jahara, I think you're on mute.
Sorry. What attracts people to meth? I think it's one of them is the sex when it gets introduced to you as for sex. Um, and also when it gets introduced to you in sex work, because that's when it got really bad for me and it got really intertwined. And it's like when you get introduced to meth, you don't get introduced to meth by people who look cracked out and tweaked out with sores and stuff on their face. You get introduced to meth by the girls that look fab, or everyone that looks cute and everybody's kicking, having fun. But then in the beginning, you're just having fun, so you don't think anything of it until years later, years on, your life is upside down, and you're here trying to dig yourself out of this hole that you put yourself into.
Iman.
I think for me, speaking from a personal experience with drugs, period, it started for me with feeling invincible. Because I got started with just like smoking weed, and so like I started smoking weed when I was really, really young. Um, and I just honestly, being young in a way made me feel invincible. Like the images that I saw of people being like their body being completely fatigued by drugs and everything like that. I just knew in my young mind that that would never be me. And anything that I did, that I had the mental capacity to get over it. But surely I found out that that drug was more powerful than my brain. And it took a long time to get out of that. Speaking about how I got into it, more so particularly to meth, like Jahira did say, the sex work was a part of it too. Um, More recently, just at one point being homeless and, working or trying to work and being introduced to how to navigate sex work in New York City through honestly butch queens and people who wanted to use my likeness to, I guess, profit off of or use in some capacity. If you're making money and you're around me, you can buy the drugs or you can buy the weed or you can do this and you can do that. And me not having feeling like I had anywhere else to go, I participated in a lot of that, and slowly but surely it chipped away at me, and that's how I got started.
We are coming out of the pandemic, right? And I know for some of us, being in the pandemic, we suffered a lot of separation anxiety. For me, it was the worst, right? Like I was like so alone on days and just wanted to see friends, and we couldn't commingle with each other. And I know for me as a service provider, I seen substance abuse or substance use increase, whether it was personally or for a friend. I'm pretty sure we all seen that. There was one thing that was consistent: them boys was on that corner and they was getting their money, right? So when we talk about that, how have you coped with your substance or with being alone throughout the pandemic? The panel's open.
I know for me, I've stayed busy. I even actually once I was released from my desk job, I ended up moving back to New York City just to be amongst more of my support because it started getting a little bit more daunting on me because working from home and not really having any interaction to kind of like really feel supported, I had to be somewhere closer. So now I work from here in New York so that I can see family periodically. There are still times where I have to like thank thank God for modern technology where I'm sitting on FaceTimes because I have to see someone to kind of take my mind off of it sometimes every hour until I go to sleep. So I implore people to kind of like reach out. Don't be afraid to call somebody. If you got to go through your whole contact list to just talk to somebody, like it's sometimes necessary. Um, Even people I didn't really care too much to talk to, it did help in the end because I had someone to talk to. Because an isolated mind can sometimes be your worst enemy, and I think that's what I found helps me. And then watching healthy content on Netflix and things of that sort, that kind of like just takes my mind away from it, just to put me in a space of like subtleness. That's another thing that helps me. But you know, Dina the Warrior Princess and stuff like that. I'm an old school girl, so yeah. But that's what's been helping me cope, kind of like take my mind off of what I'm not doing.
Thank you. How has it been? How have you been coping, Iman? Very quickly.
Can you repeat the question? I accidentally clicked out. Can you repeat the question that we're answering?
Coming out of the pandemic, we're coming out of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? How did you cope through the pandemic as a trans person?
Do you want me to start chronologically, like from the beginning to end, or you just want me to talk about the end?
Well, baby, you know what? If we had the time, I would want you to chew that up, put it in, mash it up so we could get it all down. But we press for time, boo. They're gonna kick us out of
Okay.
here
Well,
soon.
I would say that just to give you a quick synopsis, I think initially the isolation was the worst part. Being someone who is creative and who is actively seeking things to do to keep my mind busy. Not having that was the biggest challenge. And going when we all, are behind closed doors, we are all left to our own vices. And I did not have the mental strength to pull myself out of my vices when there was no one around me. Especially being someone who was very image conscious and is an artist. I didn't have anybody to perform for, in a sense. There was no one for me to entertain when the pandemic was here. So I am now just dealing with all of these thoughts where usually I would occupy my time to help manage it. Coming out of the pandemic, I think I just hit rock bottom, and I got to a point where I was like, I literally cannot get any lower. So I would need more time to really tell you how I got out of it. So I'm gonna pass it on to the next person. But
You see, and that's the thing, right? Because the reality is so much to tell in our narrative on how we were able to get through. And
right,
this is stories that if we were to have this real conversation and the length that it would take for us to regurgitate that, but I'm so sorry. Like I wish we did. I promise you, this conversation will continue. I will continue to host this so we can continue to unpack this, right?
mm,
What is the greatest thing that you took away from being in this pandemic, Brenda?
Self-awareness.
Asia?
I got to
Oh, go ahead.
I got to learn myself and my strengths and my weaknesses. I suffer from PTSD as well as depression. And normally you can't pick up the phone and talk to a girlfriend or a friend or anyone else. So I use any 800 number just to have somebody to talk to, somebody who would listen and not pass judgment and get a little peace, lay my head down and rest. But for me, it was self-awareness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, I fell in love with myself. This pandemic, like, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, this was really the best, that thing that ever could have happened for me. I fell in love with every part of me. I appreciated myself. I stopped doubting anything and everything, and just literally just started. I just want to enjoy life now as much as I can. I needed that.
Support. When we hear the word support, because that word was thrown out there, what does it look like? What does support look like for you, Crystal?
Oh, wow. What support looks like for me is people just understanding that I may not move at the same pace as them. Them understanding that if I don't go on the train by myself, I catch lifts because it makes me feel safe. I can, like, and not feeling like I'm gonna be judged for the way that I choose to move, so that I can have a peace of mind. I think people who support that without pushback is that's for me a more like, yeah, you already become my bestie just by doing that. Like, just not making me feel some type of way because of me doing certain things a certain way. But yeah.
Iman, what type of advice can you offer a family member or a friend of someone who is going to probably start their first drug or struggle with substance use, what would be your advice to them?
Um, I don't know, because every situation is different. I don't know what I would say, and sorry, y'all, because this conversation really has, there's been tears in the back of my eyes this whole conversation, so they've just kind of been coming out throughout this
Okay.
conversation. I don't know what I would say, um, but I know if I were talking to myself 2, 3 years ago, I would say to learn how to be happy by yourself and learn to love yourself,
Yeah.
because being attached or wanting to be attached only leads to people taking advantage of you. So learn to be comfortable in your own space, in your with your own energy, in your own body, because this is really all you have. Um, as much as people say that they care, as much as people say that they want to help, sometimes they're not in the space, and sometimes it's, only formalities. Sometimes when people say how you doing, they really don't want to know how you're doing. It's just the formality that we say, how are you doing? But people sometimes won't be prepared for the honest answer, and sometimes your emotions are too much for other people to bear, and not everyone is responsible for bearing your traumas. Had I learned that sooner, I would not have latched on to so many dead ends and so many experiences that were probably not my own to go through, but I was living my life through other people because I didn't have my own identity. And that's a lesson that I wish I would have learned earlier.
Thank you. Brenda, same question.
One more time, repeat it, please.
What type of advice can you offer someone, a younger person, a family member, or a friend who will be struggling or considering substance?
Okay. Struggling. If I ask you, it's not because I'm judging you. It's because it's already here in my head. So the best thing is to be honest. I know it's hard, and when you're under the influence, it becomes even harder. Even when you're coming down, you know, you feel like you're being, what's the word I'm looking for? Singled out or put on under the spotlight. I just want to know how I can help. Okay. If you want help, I got to find a way to help you, not me, because I'm not the enemy. And a lot of times when people come down from crystal meth, the person they're around becomes the enemy,
Mm, mm,
and
mm,
they lash out at those people.
mm, mm,
And
mm,
then you get the fuck it's. Fuck it. Fuck it. But if you need help and you're genuine and serious about getting the help, there isn't any stone I won't turn to get you the help that you need. But you have to want the help. You have to be willing to accept it. And it can be, oh, I need help today, but tomorrow I'm right back getting high again.
Thank you. Jahira, as a person and a service provider, what would you say to a young trans person thinking about using crystal meth or any other substance?
I
It's okay, ladies. I know that this is
Okay,
heavy.
sweetheart.
I every time because people do come to me with that question. Oh, I want to try this. I'm like, before you do that, let me tell you my story, and then you can make a decision whether or not you want to do the substances or not. Because it's gonna be fun. It'll be fun in the beginning, but then it's not, and you think you're gonna be able to control it until you can't. And then you're just in such deep depression and so miserable and hopeless, which is how I felt.
Thank you.
And it's definitely not worth it. I tell you the truth. I suggest people not try drugs. If you're doing them and if you want to do them, that's your business. And if you need the support, I'm here for you. I'm not here to judge you for what are you doing. I'm here to help you in whatever way I can, in whatever your goal is.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I'm going to say this. I thank each and every one of you under the sound of my voice. And for those of you who are viewing us from the comfortability of your homes, if you just tuned in, go back, rewind it, hear the stories, hear the diversity and the generations as these ladies have spoken and shared some of their experiences. It is my hope that you continue to keep this narrative going and keep this conversation going. I would love for these women to come back, to hear the youth tell me that she still has so much more that she has to get out. Iman, if you can't get it out here, call me or someone else that you can and get that shit out of you.
Yeah.
Because you are not alone in your struggle. There are women just like me and you every day who continue to fight the disease of mental health and addiction and live with it, that it feels like a cure when we're not. So I want to tell you that it's perfectly normal what we're all experiencing. And no, the language ain't got to be perfect in this space because we're perfectly imperfect trying to live a life that is pleasing.
Yes.
Okay? What is your last comment? I'm going to give each one of you an opportunity, please, before they put us out. Get it like my edges. Okay? Thank you, Charmaine. I got to throw it out. That's a shameless plug. But what I will say is what would be your last statement? Or let me look it up and say it right. What would be your last thoughts and something that you want to say to Ballroom from you? Asia. Nope. Wait a minute, Asia. I want you to think on that for a minute. We're going to start off with Brenda.
Protect the children.
Thank you.
Please protect the babies. Each and every one of you ladies down here, I love you. Thank you. But it's about the youth, the ones that are growing up. You know, we got to do something for them. We got to make sure that they make it to where we're at. At least it's no longer, you got to just stop. Even if you have to just grab somebody and give them a hug. Protect them babies. Protect them babies. Protect them babies. Protect them babies. Please, 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 please.
Ooh. Jahira, what do you want to say to the Ballroom community?
Protect the kids. I think Ballroom needs to be a little bit more supportive, from my view. because it's loving and it's a family, but we also need to be there for each other, and protect the kids. And we also need to show the younger kids that there is life beyond all of this. We need to show them that we do become people. We're not just a statistic, and we're not just your typical, like, I don't want to, the tranny in the corner cracked out, trying to get $5 so she could get her next hit. We need to be better role models for these kids that are coming up. Because when I was coming up, there wasn't many role models to look up to. So we need to show these younger kids the role. We need to be the role models these kids also they need, so that they don't go through the same shit that we went through.
Thank you. Crystal.
More transparency. Let people be vulnerable enough to let them see the process, or let them know the process, that you started from one place and look at you now. I think a lot of times we let people, they try so hard to hide their inaccuracies or the things that they don't have cleaned up yet, that it just seems unobtainable for someone like how I started off, where I felt everybody was just fab walking labels and all of this stuff, and they never had a hard time. And who am I to think I can be like that? And I think that now it's just like, I think knowing a lot of these people that I looked up to and being able to now be let in to those conversations, it's almost like I wish I would have known much sooner that it was that I too can get there. So I think for the next generation, I would love for the new mothers and the new fathers and everyone to be just more transparent about how they got to the point of achievement or success, and so that they too, they can have hope for tomorrow, because a lot of them, they don't sometimes feel like it. So I think that's what I would want the ballroom to do more of.
Iman.
Um, I would say that the same ways we exercise that ability to put on a face and perform for these large audiences, or even, talk about your girlfriend, when she's going through something, you could use that same energy to help someone out of a situation. And you never know what you might say to someone that will bring them out of a space of depression or anything. And one thing that I said to an individual about a month or so ago when we were having this conversation, she said, well, that person doesn't really like you, and anything that they were telling, you or whatever, they were probably just pretending. And I said that even if they were pretending in that moment, what they said to me helped me. So even if you feel like you don't have the time to deal with somebody's whatever, just lead with love, because you never know. The one thing that you say to them might be what saves their life. So the same way we pretend and are fake and phony when people are in front of us that we don't like, we can be fake and phony too if we put the same energy towards uplifting people. Even if you say you don't have the time for it, still lead with love.
Amen.
Asia.
So for me, I would just like to say that I would challenge all of the older generations to step back up and be a part of the scene, and teach and show us how it's done. Because y'all guys always say, I got a chance to be a part and see the family aspect and see what it's really about. But the new generation is only doing what they see that's around them. So for me, I will appreciate it if it was more of the Tabithas, like certain the Harolds and more of the older generations where they can have people that can look to. They can learn about what family really is. They can learn about what ballroom really came from, the history of ballroom, where the true meaning of what is the purpose of it of ballroom is. I know it, but and I can teach it to my kids that I'm an overall mother house of. But I think the more of us need to be there.
Aisha, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. That's it.
Thank you
And thank
so
you guys.
much.
I definitely just want to say, Iman, I just want to let you know that you're amazing, and I just love that you're open, being very open and honest about everything. And I definitely appreciate everything that you have done tonight. You have opened, and you are amazing. I want you to know that.
Thank you, Aisha. I know we
And
talked a little bit before.
before I yield this over to Tim, I want to say that I am so humbled to be in this space with all of you. Intergenerational, talking about what's really important and really addressing the issues that we face as Black and Brown women of trans experience in ballroom. I say to ballroom that we are more than just your categories, that we are women and we need your support. And sometimes that look like just standing in the gap. Sometimes that look like protecting us from ourselves. Being that bigger brother or that bigger sister or that auntie that someone else needs. What I do it because I'm passionate about it. I've seen the harm that substance and mental health cause my Black and Brown community. I've learned from some amazing people in ballroom who have had some overcoming stories. I've learned from the best who have overcome impossible odds. I'll just throw a couple of names out there because I want to honor these women. Letitia Brown, Nicole Bowes, Kim Watsons, Brenda's, Danielle. We have some strong women in our community. Monique. We have so many strong women here. Courtney. We're here to help and heal. But we need your help too. We can't do this alone. Y'all know I'm old. I'm 48, bitch. I'm trying to sit back and let y'all do it. But what I will say to every trans woman under the sound of my voice, if I leave you with anything from this panel, please know that you are loved, that you are valued, and your fucking life matters. I'll yield it over to Tim. I don't know what you're saying, bro, but you need to unmute yourself. You done did this again. Come on.
Poor me, right? Thank you, Tabitha. Thank you. I mean, I don't really need to say much. I just think that everything that needed to be said was said. How they sound legendary, what needed to be done, it was already said.
What needed to, you did. What needed
to be done.
To be done.
Right. So
no Sade.
Right. So that same concept, right? I mean, y'all said it. This was powerful. You know what I mean? And you were amazing too, Tabitha. And I just wanted to kind of like highlight, you mentioned a little bit, the people who were viewing were leaving comments like Letitia and Corey and Ruckus and Nicole and Valerie. I wrote everybody's names down. Anya, right? They were providing support because I know at one point Brenda had made a comment, but they were loving on you, Brenda, throughout the entire discussion, right? They were just loving on you, but I just want to acknowledge them. And I wrote down a couple of things. I'm going to go real quick because I know we're running out of time.
Where's my baby Iman go?
Put my glasses on real quick. I think Iman, it was Asia who said she just fell in love with herself, right, during the pandemic. That was the biggest lesson she learned. I think that's something important that we can all take away from, you know what I mean, and take that with us. Jahira said that she shares her story often, right? That's powerful. Learn to be comfortable within your own space. Who said that? I think it was Iman who said that.
Iman.
Yes.
Brenda mentioned something about survivor's guilt, right? How that you said that may have been a challenge, but it was also empowering you. You know what I mean? At some point in your life. A couple of other things. Lead with love. Who said that? Right. So all of these things were really powerful. You know what I mean? That we heard tonight. And I just hope. I mean, I don't even have to hope and pray. I just know that people took a lot away from this. And Nicole too was in the comments. I forgot to mention. We're
Oh,
going to go on the next one, Nicole. You and Letitia. So I appreciate all of you ladies. I thank you. And I do know, and I think Brenda said it back in the day, we would come to the balls and all we wanted to see was the girls. That's it. We didn't want to see nothing else. So how do we bring that back, right? With support.
bring back the girls.
Bring them back, right? So
I mean, saw come back. It's time to bring back the girls. What happened?
right. That's how many people. Anybody out there who is struggling with crystal meth use or any type of substance and they're looking for support, you have a panelist right here. This is your support team. These are resources. But you can also reach out to Ballroom We Care. We are on YouTube. We're on Facebook.
Let Iman back in, please. I'm sorry.
Yes. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We are on Instagram. You can find us. Reach out to us if you're looking for some support. And those
Thank you. Also, since he won't throw his little plug.
No, do it. Go ahead. That's what it's for.
We at Housing Work provide a support group for TGNC people of color, and we address such topics like taking back your power when substance control you, and when to ask for help, which is very important to our community. If you want to be a part of this workshop, you can DM me or Jahira Gonzalez right there, and we will get you enrolled. And we're about to start the end of July, so we start in cycle 7. So y'all can DM me or her, and we'll get you taken care of. But I want everyone who's here watching this live. We say this thing. I see you, Krista, because we're gonna keep the conversation going till it shut us off. Because bitch, we got a lot to say.
Period.
All of y'all here watching the live, I need you to give these ladies their roses, push them hearts, and let them see your love. Pour your love on them. This has been a labor of love to you. Show them that you love them. We may not be able to see it, but I need them to feel it. So if one of y'all got your phone in your hand, hold them accountable. Make sure they're giving y'all some love, yo. That's what this looks like. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're more than just ballroom. We are human beings. And when I tell you guys that we have to love on each other, stop making it a hashtag. Love is all we need. Show it. If you love me, say it. Show it. Do it. Go ahead, Iman. Say what you gotta say, baby. Don't you leave me, Iman.
I don't have nothing else to say.
Don't you leave me. Okay, well, come on, Crystal.
I'm done. I'm tapped out.
I just before we left, it was just on my heart this morning to when the news came across my news feed, I just want to make sure we share. We say we just now lost another brother of transitional experience, and it goes by the name of Nova. So I just want to make sure we have a space to just say his name and lift his name up in power. Another fallen angel, but at the same sense that I just want to motivate people to continue to live as well. But if you don't know, Nova was his name. That's all.
Also, Dee too in Brooklyn. So what we will say is this, right? It's good for us to mention the names of the dead, but kudos to all of us that are still here in this fight. We still got work to do. And I am so proud of what you all brought to this panel. I know I seem like I pick on you, Iman. I love you, baby. I love you.
You steady picking on me, Auntie. Stop. You be making me cry over here.
But you know I love you. That's why you know I love you.
I love you
But
too.
I want to just say thank you to all of you under the sound of my voice. Thank you for your honesty, your vulnerability, your ability to just put it out there. We cried, we laughed, we joked. Second panel coming. I heard he said second. So I don't know if this is historical, but is this the first black and brown Latina trans panel for ballroom and ballroom weekend? Did we just make history, y'all? I don't know, because y'all know Nicole and them in the comments, they've been doing this for a while. So, Nicole and them been around for a minute. So we ain't going to use the first and the last here. But we did what's needed to be
To
done.
be done.
Thank you all for tapping in, tuning in to Ballroom Week here. Please check the comments for resources. You got Anya, you got Nicole, you got so many people in here with a plethora of resources. Iman will be performing at some of your local spots. Support trans artists, support our youth,
Go.
protect our youth.
Yes.
Also,
Period. Here we
I
go.
will see you all at Bronx Pride. Be there, because I'm going to be there. Auntie Taby loves you. Remember, you are loved, you are valued, and your life matters.
Peace.